All right. The playoff race is heating up as we push into the second half of the SFLm season. Tonight, two 2-3 teams meet in Maryland for a matchup that may prove to be make or break for both sides. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Annapolis. It's week 6 of the Simulationfl Minor League. Thanks for joining us wherever you're joining us from, alongside producer extraordinaire Cameron Irvine, our statisticians David and KT Horrell and Raska Santagria, and my partner Mike Caprota. I'm Tim Hackett. Mike, only 2 games left in the season after today. This is the most important game of the year for these two teams.
Yeah, buddy, without a doubt, SFL minor league action back again. We're in the free state of Maryland. It's like we never left. And we've got the fiery Fuel and the nasty Navigators both fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive. For Annapolis, it's what have you done for me lately? Despite dropping 2 in a row, Coach Ben Jackson feels they still have the horses to make a run, but these Navigators need to get back to passing the ball. That's what they do better than any team in the league. For Birmingham, if they want a chance to move to 3-3, the defense has to come up big and continue to generate turnovers. Offensively, it's all about romancing the stone. Can the Birmingham QB build off his minor league passing record? Stone threw for 319 yards last week against San Jose. This has the making of a good old-fashioned shootout, and for me, the team who runs the most offensive plays, that's who gets the W. I'm ready to go. Let the show begin.
A critical game for both of these two teams, especially in light of Ottawa's win in the first game of the quadruple header. Birmingham kicks off on the road, and we're underway from Annapolis. Jared Crow feels inside his own 15, one sidestep to the left, and he gets out to the 28. So after Ottawa wins, they're now 5-1. Albuquerque now falls to 3-3. That means, Mike, the winner of this game obviously also improves to 3-3, and that's going to reinforce that logjam right in the middle of the standings. But for the loser, they're not out of it. 2-4 doesn't mean you're out of the hunt yet, but it's going to make it really difficult to get in.
Yeah, certainly 2-4, not where either of these teams want to be, but certainly not a death sentence, although 1 foot may be in the grave.
Yeah, no kidding. Cameron Curtis will come out to pass on play action. Will fire over the middle of the field, and the pass is dropped. He had Christopher Ochoa flying over the center of the field, and Ochoa could not haul it in. So Annapolis starts off on offense, back at home for the second time in 2 weeks. 3 of their final 4 games of the season here in Maryland after 3 of their first 4 were on the road. And as we know by now, this Annapolis offense is great. They've been super hit or miss all season. It's either all or nothing, it seems. And last week it was a lot of nothing. The week before that, a lot more nothing. And the 2 times that they've won, they've surpassed 30 points. Which version of the Annapolis offense are we going to see here today? 2nd down and 10 from the 28. Curtis sidearm pass over the middle again, and that's tipped away incomplete. Looking for Jared Crow that time, and it was defended very well by Ralger Law.
Great job by Ralgar Law. And yes, Tim, the Annapolis Navigators, they're going to come out throwing the ball. They've got the #1 passing offense in the league. But these receivers need to help out Cam Curtis, and they need to lose the case of the drops.
When Hugo Reynosa is the starting running back, as he is this week in week 6, they pass a whole lot more than they do when Scott Johnson is the running back. They'll throw it here, 3rd down and 10, 5 wides for Curtis. He'll float it down the left seam looking for Crow. It's off of Crow's hands, and it falls incomplete. 3 Fuel defenders were there, and Crow could not haul it in. 4th down.
Once again, a right receiver for the Navigators drops a pass. 3 attempts in a row. 3 were wide open, and you saw 3 that just couldn't haul it in.
You make a good point. All 3 of those plays they had the opportunity to complete all 3 of those passes, and Cameron Curtis is going to start 0 for 3. C.J. Arthur, the #1 wide receiver in this class, stuck on 23 total catches. He was not targeted on that drive, had just 1 catch last week. He's been very quiet since week 1. So Rand Fullman is on to punt. Riley Quintero ready to return for Birmingham. Good pressure. Quintero fields inside his own 35. Nice sidestep, and he gets out across the 40. And a good punt return for Riley Quintero, who has been really good on kick returns, not as much on punt returns. And that's a good return from here. Birmingham's first drive will start from their own 42.
The Riley Quintero punt returner, anytime he touches the ball on a kickback, he's dangerous, and a nice move to get his Fuel team up to the 42.
Of course, one of 2 players with a kick 6 this season, along with Paul Dillevue of Madison. That came back in week 3, Birmingham's first win of the season. Ben Stone to pass on 1st down, first offensive possession for Birmingham, and he completes it to Beth Horrell on a middle out route. Their top wide receiver, she picks up 7. and Birmingham will hustle back to the line. Annapolis showing press coverage. Late handoff from Stone, gets to the tailback. It's Micah Dillon, and he is stuffed at the line. Birmingham also using their number 2 running back this week, Micah Dillon, out of Winston-Salem. And now Birmingham will hustle right back to the line again. 3rd down and 3. Straight drop back for Stone. He'll launch it down the right side this time, and it's hauled in for a first down by Zach Lay out to the 40-yard line. Birmingham moves the chains.
This Fuel team's been on fire. Ben Stone's the big reason why.
Ben Stone is red hot, you're right. Now they'll go on the ground to Micah Dillon. He gets absolutely nothing. Tough to see who made that stop. I think it was Eric Hammer, the middle linebacker, and Birmingham wasting no time to start here. 2 wides and 2 tailbacks. The handoff is to Micah Dillon. Breaks through the first hit. Can't break through the second one. Ace Zello, the new free safety, the new star on this Annapolis defense, replacing Hayden Williams, makes the stop, gain of 2. Now a 3rd and 8. Ben Stone quickly to the line again. Has time, he'll throw out to the far sideline, and it's dropped by Zach Lay. Same play that happened the first time, and Lay couldn't haul it in this time. 4th down.
The case of the drops, it's contagious, Tim. Both teams struggling to move the ball, and you see right there, perfect pass by Stone, and the receiver could not make the play.
Birmingham spreads the ball out about as well as any team. They have 3 really solid receivers, Beth Horrell and Zach Lay and Riley Quintero. They all get in the action consistently. They've all had their days, and Lay could not prolong that drive. Taylor Benjamin, directional kick out to the right side. It bounces a couple of times. The first special teamer can't handle it, and now the second one will, and they'll down Annapolis at the 6. Good work for Benjamin, and these 2 teams playing the field position game early.
Great punt by Benjamin. Came out 3 after that a quick series, and he did his job. He'll pin Annapolis back, and now they've got to go 95.
It's been a real weird season for Annapolis, and frankly, they're trending in the wrong direction. 2 wins in their first 3 games. They scored 30 points in week 1, 40 points in week 3. Both of those were wins, and then in all their other 3 games, they have managed 1 total touchdown. Here's the first handoff for Hugo Reynosa, their number 2 running back, and he picks up 2.
This is our first look in week 6, Tim, at Hugo Reynosa. The other games we've called for Annapolis, we've watched Scott Johnson and Hugo Boss Reynosa. He's got some big shoes to fill today. He touches the ball about 33 times a game.
Johnson is much more efficient on the ground to this point of the season, but Hugo Reynosa has been one of the best pass-catching running backs at this point of the season. They'll run it again to Reynosa, and he can't crack outside. A trio of Birmingham players were there, spearheaded by big defensive tackle Vernard Patterson.
Vernard Patterson out of Norfolk, Virginia. He read that beautifully, and he's not going to let the boss go anywhere.
Hugo Reynosa, 36 total carries for 89 total yards through his first 2 starts. That's second last in carries, last among running backs in rushing yards. But again, he's very good through the air. They might look for him here. 3rd down and 9. Curtis will look to the left side. It's not Reynosa. The pass is dropped, and it's intercepted on the far sideline by Bob Funk, his 3rd interception of the year. And this pick-happy Birmingham defense comes to play in the first quarter.
Bob Funk didn't take long to start where he left off last week. He was the reason why this Fuel won last week. In the 3rd quarter, he turned the momentum. He put his team on the goal line. And right here in the 1st quarter, Bob Funk Railroad, get the party started.
The train is picking up steam. Curtis was looking for Chris Armstrong. Geralt Winkler applied the pressure on the backup receiver. Calls the tip, and Bob Funk takes it inside the 5. 1st and goal here for the Fuel. They'll give to Micah Dillon. Gets outside and crosses the goal line for a touchdown. First score of the year for Micah Dillon, and Birmingham strikes first on the road.
1 play, 1 touchdown for Micah Dillon, and give the credit and the pat in the back to that Fuel defense. Bob Funk and company. That's how this team is going to win. They're 2nd in the league. That was their 8th turnover, and this is the key to the Birmingham way on putting this game in the W column, Tim.
It's exactly as you said, what happened to Birmingham last week. This has been their plan for success all season long. Opportunistic doesn't even begin to describe this Birmingham team. And once again, they get a turnover. They're one of the best at takeaways in the league, and they turn it into a touchdown on the very next play. Here comes Nico Cappuccino for the PAT. He knocks it through. So Bob Funk's 3rd interception of the season, another takeaway by this Birmingham defense. Their 8th overall, all by star players, and Micah Dillon punches it in from 4 yards out.
Sometimes your offense is created by your defense, and you saw the perfect example right there by the Fuel defense. If they can continue to do that, they're going to be giving Cam Curtis and this Annapolis offense fits all day long.
That's just the second rushing touchdown allowed by the Navigators this season. Our friend Ross Napoli telling us that. And Birmingham strikes first on the ground with Dillon's first touchdown of the season of any kind. Solid return here from Jared Crow. He gets out to the 30. And so Annapolis is going to have to respond. We've seen this, Mike. They were so good on offense the first 2 weeks, but everything is going wrong for the Navigators over the last 2 weeks. Lots of sacks, lots of turnovers, next to no points, only 2 total touchdowns. They need to right the ship in a hurry.
The team has struggled, especially at home. They're on the verge of losing 3 in a row. But again, these wide receivers need to help out Cam Curtis if they have a chance to want to win this game today.
Offense is as potent as they come, so a 7-0 deficit is not even close to too much to overcome. Curtis will drop it off to Reynosa, and he's blown up at the line of scrimmage. We talked about how good he is at receiving. 12 catches for 70 yards. That's 5th most among running backs in catches, 5th most among all running backs. And again, Reynosa only had 2 starts, and that's the most receiving yards by a running back at 70. He gets 0 that time.
Great job by the Fuel defense. They're fired up after getting on the board, cracking the ice first.
Guys in the box here for Birmingham on 2nd and 10. Big hole up the middle for Hugo Reynosa, one of his best runs of the season. He picks up 8, going right behind the center, Dusty Wilson. This is just his 2nd game with the team.
Out of Divor, Texas, the big man, 6'3", 300 pounds. He created a nice hole, and it was easy for Reynosa to pick up 8.
Now one of 3 teams across the SFL with 2, or it's SFLm, I should say, with 2 star offensive linemen, Wilson the center and Cody Heinen, the left tackle in the dark. Birmingham on the road wearing the whites. 3rd down and 2 here for Curtis and Annapolis. Again, they give it to Reynosa, gets through the first wave and gets out across the line to gain a gain of 7 on 3rd down and 2, stopped by Rolger Law. And Hugo Reynosa does it himself.
The fierce competitors, Cody Heinen and Dusty Wilson, they know that the game is won in the trenches, and for this Annapolis team to be able to move the ball, they're going to have to be big today.
So back-to-back runs on 2nd and 3rd down for Annapolis. That's not their normal script with Reynosa, but if they can subvert the game plan, maybe that's their key to success. They'll again run to Reynosa, and this time he runs right into the teeth of the defense. Guess who? Vernard Patterson, the top-rated defensive tackle in the class, stops Reynosa for a loss of 1.
Big number 64, he came to play. He knows what's at stake today. He wants his team to move up 3-3, and he's going to do it by getting a 1-yard loss.
6'6", 330 defensive tackle out of Norfolk picks up his 4th TFL of the season. Curtis to pass here on 2nd down and 11, out towards the left side, and it's knocked away incomplete. Had a man over there. It was Christopher Ochoa, and he was defended perfectly one-on-one by Andrew Laffer, the backup corner.
Right now, Cam Curtis is 1 for 6. He should be 6 for 6, but somehow these wide receivers, they need to invest in a can of Mike and Pro to stick them.
You gonna get that patented? Get it on the shelves. People need it. This team especially needs it after what we've seen the last couple of weeks. And again, Annapolis will spread it out. 6:10 to go in the first, 7-0 deficit. 5 wides here on a 3rd and 11 inside their own half of the field. Curtis takes his time, gets the snap with 7. 1 pump fake, launches over the middle, looking for Ochoa again, and it's knocked away again. Rolger Law plays the body, reaches up his left-handed, swats it away. 4th down.
Rolger Law, he wants to create a reputation as a bad man. He's the new sheriff in town. Don't mess with the law.
Yeah, Curtis tried to fight the law, right? The law wins. And this secondary for Birmingham, I saw Adam Wiseman, the Birmingham head coach. Maybe he's a little biased, but saw him in the chat a minute ago say this is the best secondary in the league. And he certainly has a stake to that claim. This is one of the best foursomes in the league, and certainly they're the best names in the league. Bob Funk, Geralt Winkler, Rolger Law, and Rain REA. 3 of those guys have at least 2 picks, and this secondary has been great. They stopped the best passing team in the league once again. 4th down and 11, ran Fullman on to punt. Fielded by Riley Quintero. He gets out across the 20 and out to the 26. So 3rd drive coming up now for Birmingham, and get to see a little bit more out of this offense. Like you said, Mike, Ben Stone coming off of the most prolific game by a quarterback in the SFLm so far, which is a little bit surprising to me. You know, all the big-name quarterbacks in this league. Curtis certainly one of them. You saw P.J. Slaughter in the first game. Bryant Dynasty makes a lot of waves for Lincoln. There's a couple of other ones there, but Ben Stone out of nowhere with the most passing yards by a QB in the league last week, and Birmingham won the game.
Yeah, only two 300-yard passing QBs on the year. Week 3, JQ did it against this Annapolis Navigator team. And as you mentioned, Week 5, Ben Stone was a flamethrower, throwing up 319 yards against the flight.
2 on first down there for Micah Dillon. And it's just a surprise to me. No disservice to Ben Stone, Mike, but just kind of out of nowhere. In his first 4 starts, 3 of those games, Stone was under 200 yards passing. And then last week he comes out with 319. There's a big gain for him here on second down. Beth Horrell on a crossing route over the far side. She picks up a gain of about 12, and Birmingham moves the chains.
Beth Horrell with her second catch of the game. Last week she did a nice job, 5 catches for 79 yards, and that'll get it done.
24 catches, leads the team, 248 total yards. Before today, both of those are top 10 in the league. And like we said, these 3 wide receivers, I should say, on this Birmingham team, they all get involved at different times. Ben Stone spreads the wealth quite well. They have 4 total pass catchers in the top 20 in total catches. Lincoln is the only other team in the SFLm that could say they have 4 in the top 20. First down and 10, 4 wides for the Fuel. Stone has time over the middle of the field. The pass is tipped twice, and it falls to the turf, incomplete. Who was that on the coverage? That might have been Eric Hammer in the mix, and it's actually Alvin Heyman, the new corner for Annapolis, makes the play. Second down.
Alvin Heyman coming off the bench, filling in nicely for the recently released Jared Brody, and he knocked that one down. Dangerous pass by Stone, throwing it into traffic.
That's the other storyline about this Navigator team. They have 3 players that were on the roster last week that are no longer on the team for various reasons. Heyman's one of the replacements. On second down, Stone will hit Dillon coming out of the backfield, and he's blown up by Garrison Blue. He's now the de facto number 1 corner, and he stops Dillon for no gain.
Garrison Blue coming up from his cornerback position just dove at Micah Dillon's legs and took him down for a gain of 0.
G-Money has been good over the last couple of weeks. He was the number 2 corner, moved over to the right side of the defense last week as the number 1 corner, and now is the de facto number 1 corner with no Jared Brody. Third down and 10 for Stone, their longest third down of the game so far. He'll float it over the middle. It's caught by Beth Horrell, but she's 2 yards short of the line to gain. Solomon Kane and Mike Little were there to combine on the stop, 4th down.
It looked like Ben Stone had his receiver wide open, but when he let it go, it slipped out of his hand. It came out like a rainbow, and it just didn't get there quick enough. They're going to come up 2 yards short, and Annapolis is going to force the punt.
Is Birmingham going to come up to the line
Or
here? I'm stunned by this, Mike, from right on midfield. 4th down and 2, Ben Stone coming back under center. A trio of tight ends. Dillon is the only tailback. There's 15 seconds on the clock. This could be the patented SFL bait and switch. 10 seconds now on the play clock. No rush here for Birmingham and Adam Wiseman and Ben Stone. 5 seconds on the play clock. And Ben Stone will call a timeout. Annapolis doesn't fall for it.
Questionable decision by Adam Wiseman this early in the game. They're up by 7 points. To me, punt them deep, try to play field position, and let your powerful defense go to work.
Their defense has been really solid over the last couple of weeks. It's really middle of the pack in a lot of statistical categories, if you will. But, I mean, as we've outlined, they excel in a couple of different places. They're first in the league in pass yards against, and now 8 total takeaways. That's tied for first among all teams before today's stats are figured in, of course. So now here comes Taylor Benjamin on to punt for the second time. Fair catch called for and made by Jared Crow at his own 15. So Annapolis back to work on offense. They've already committed a turnover that resulted in that first touchdown, and this offense really needs to get clicking, Mike. And once again, no targets for C.J. Arthur.
Really can't explain what has happened to C.J. Arthur and Cam Curtis. They came out firing with 2 huge touchdown passes in week 1. In week 2, Arthur was the primary target, and every game since, his share of the pass receptions have gone down. They need to get that fired up again.
See if Birmingham tries to double team him or scheme against him or what, because he's really been a non-factor the last couple of weeks. Some his fault, some not his fault. They just don't throw it to him as much as they did at the beginning part of the season. Reynosa on the carry, and he's stopped for no gain by Rolger Law.
Hugo Reynosa, he's going to be the key if this team wants to win today, but 2 yards a carry, that won't work.
David Horrell telling us Hugo Reynosa had 7 straight touches at one point on that last drive before that 3rd down and long. They'll go back to Reynosa here. Here's the best pass catching back in the league. He picks up 6 on 2nd down. Nice hole paid for him on the outside by Cody Heinen.
Good job. They flipped it out to the outside. Reynosa picked up 6, but once again, the Navigators are pinned deep, and it brings up a 3rd down situation. and they're going to need to pass the ball here, Tim. I'd be surprised if they run it.
TJ Arthur is alone at the top of the screen. Ochoa is the wide receiver at the bottom of the screen. Reynosa is the tailback on 3rd and 4. They will give to Reynosa. Huge hole for Reynosa off left tackle. There he goes down the left sideline. Hold down from behind by Lorenzo Washington on 3rd down and 4. They give it to Hugo Reynosa, and he gets all the way out to midfield.
Tim, as I've said in the past, never listen to anything I say. I have no clue what I'm talking about. Perfect call. They gave it to Reynosa, and that's his best run of the year. And that's exactly the shot in the arm that this Navigator offense needs. Now they have some breathing room.
Trust me, I don't think I ever know what I'm talking about. You at least get some predictions right. That's a gain of 29 for Reynosa, and you're right, that's his longest run of the season. Will they go to him again? They will. Hole up the middle, and that hole collapses. Werner Patterson is in there once again on the stop. Gain of 1 for Hugo.
Seems like Bernard Patterson's in on every tackle, and this Fuel defense is going to have to come up big today and stop Reynosa. They can't allow him to rip off big runs like he just had on that 29-yard carry.
David Horrell in the mix as well. The problem for Hugo Reynosa is that a lot of his rushing stats came in garbage time in a game that he wasn't the starter is what I'm trying to say. 2nd down and 9 for Curtis. He'll fling it to a man wide open over the middle of the field. It's the tight end Alex Daniel. He picks up 14. Biggest pass play of the game so far. And finally, this Annapolis offense is cooking.
Starting to find a rhythm, a good mix of pass run, keeping the Fuel defense back on their heels. The middle of the field's wide open, and Alex Daniels finds a hole.
Annapolis is really starting to use Alex Daniel more as this season progresses. He had 3 total catches for 18 total yards across the team's first 2 games. All of his other action has come across the last 3+, and a big gain for him first here. 1st down and 10 from the 35. First time Annapolis has been across the midfield line. One pump fake. Curtis will now go to the far side, looking for Daniel in one-on-one coverage, and the pass was behind his tight end and knocked away incomplete.
Great job by the DB, number 28. I think that was a backup cornerback, Andrew Laffer, and he stuck his hand out right at the last second. That could have been a big game if that pass got through to Daniel. He would have taken that all the way down the sideline.
They don't use Andrew Laffer all that much. The 2 backup safeties are usually the nickel and dime backs for this Birmingham defense, and Andrew Laffer has made 2 big plays already in this game. 2nd down and 10. Curtis from right under center. 5 wides, and he's hit for a loss. Dropped for a sack by Finley James. His killer season continues, and another allowed sack. Or check that. It's Stu Murphy, 98, not 99. The backup defensive tackle breaks through the line.
The Fuel were in a dime package. They knew it was a passing down. And the big defensive tackle, 6'3", 286, Stu Murphy makes a big play, and he creates a 4-yard loss. It's 3rd and 14. Annapolis is under pressure again.
By this Navigator offensive line over the last 2+ games. That can't happen. 3rd and 14. Curtis over the middle of the field, knocked away incomplete. Batted down like a middle blocker by David Horrell, and another 4th down and long upcoming.
David Horrell, the linebacker out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He's a retired veteran, and we salute you, sir. Memorial Day was just this past weekend, and it's real heroes like you and all the rest of the veterans in this league that make everything exciting. And also, Tim, I want to mention healthcare workers. His daughter, she's a real hero. She works in healthcare. We salute you as well. Thank you very much for all you do.
Well put, Mike. Thank you for that. And yeah, I can't say it any better than that. Thank you to all of you who have served and all of you who are currently serving in all the different ways across the country. And the SFL has been able to go on even when everything else has been put to a stop. And it's been an awesome release. I know for me, I won't speak for anybody else, but it's been an awesome experience just to be a part of this league that continues to fight even through all the things that we're going through as a nation and as a world, frankly. And it's really inspiring, all the people that are serving on the front lines in all the different capacities. Thank you for everything that you've done to make our lives easier and safer. Birmingham will take over from the 16, and Micah Dillon picks up 4.
Great job by Ramon Grande. He was a week 2 signing, and Micah Dillon's going to find success running behind his guard. And right there, nice pickup of 4.
Glad you said that, because Ramon Grande, I saw him pave the way on Micah Dillon's touchdown run. He's the right guard and cracked all the way out to the left side. I love a good guard pull. Not sure how many things in football I like more than that. Good to see Ramon Grande get in the mix, as you say, a week 2 signing addition to this team. 2nd down and 6. Here goes Dillon. He'll crack back left guard this time, and a big gain for Micah Dillon out across the 30-yard line out to the 32. 1st down.
Ramon Grande, he's big, he's strong, and Micah Dillon knows where he's going to make his money. Running behind big number 60, he pulled that left the line wide open as the linebackers followed the guard to the left side, and he hit the A-gap for a big gain.
That's the end of the first quarter. Another Birmingham interception sets up the first score of the game. Micah Dillon's first score of the season, and the Fuel leads 7-0 after one on the road. This is the Simulation Football League Minor League on YouTube. Thanks for joining us this afternoon, everybody. Tim Hackett, Mike Improto with our trio of statisticians and Cameron Irvine behind the scenes. It is a killer Week 6 across the SFLm. We've got 4 high-quality games, high-impact games across the league. Stone, risky pass, looking for Dillon. That could have been taken into the end zone the other direction.
Really surprised that Stone looked Micah Dillon's way. Rain, hurry, hey, read that the whole time. I think he was a little surprised Stone threw it his direction, and it's off the hand of Dillon. Incomplete.
I think that was almost a Tank Hut play. That wasn't Tank Hut that was on the defense, but that was how Tank Hut had his pick 6 a couple of weeks ago in Week 3 against Lincoln on a play just like that against Lincoln. And that was nearly deja vu here for this Annapolis defense. Not to be, though. So 2nd down and 10. Single setback is Dillon, 3 wides for Ben Stone. A 7-0 lead just underway here in the second quarter. Deep drop back, Stone has all day. Now he'll fire over the middle, and the pass is hauled in for the first down. The referee nearly breaks up the play. Was that Beth Horrell again? It was. That's her 3rd catch of the game. She's cooking in this first half.
What an effort by Beth Horrell. The soft hands as the big woman, she's over 6 feet tall, reached out with the long arms and was able to pick that up right off the top of the grass.
I think I missed one. My fault there. It's her 4th catch of the game. And yeah, you're right. She's one of the tallest wide receivers in the league at 6'6", 235, the pride of scenic Winston-Salem. And she makes another catch. 4 catches for 42 yards. Zach Lay has the other catch to somebody not named Micah Dillon out of the hands of Ben Stone. First down and 10 from the 47. Just a 3-man rush this time for Annapolis. Stone's pass is picked off on the far sideline. Annapolis gets an interception to answer, and that's the defensive line. That's the linebacker Jeff Gagne, who lives along the line of scrimmage. His first pick of the season. Annapolis is in business.
Jeff Gagne read Ben Stone's eyes the whole time. He saw that they were looking for Horrell once again. He stepped right in the passing lane, and now he gives new life to this Navigator team.
Micah Dillon saves that touchdown, and we know that Annapolis is primed to turn those picks into pick 6s. We just talked about Tank Hut. I'm sorry, Jeff Gagne. Every time I see the 92, I assume it's a defensive lineman. Not the case, and Jeff Gagne is one of the best line of scrimmage linebackers in the league. It shows you why right there. So short field now for Annapolis, the deepest that they've been in enemy territory. On first down, the handout to Reynosa, and he picks up 4. David Horrell is in there on the stop, as well as number 35. That's the backup safety, Eddie Blackwell.
Nice job once again by the offensive line. Hugo Reynosa on the halfback drive. He picks up 4 down to the 26, and they'll take it.
Already 11 total touches for Hugo Reynosa. He averages 25 through his first 2 starts. 2nd down and 6. Curtis on a quick out route. There's Christopher Ochoa, his first catch of the game, and he barrels ahead, lowers the shoulder, drags Geralt Winkler for an extra yard. Annapolis will have 1st and goal.
2 consecutive plays of positive yardage. Ochoa with the crossing pattern to the left side of the field, and they're inside the 10. Right here, Tim, this is where Annapolis kicked themselves last week. They got inside the red zone. They had too many drops, and then they had to settle for field goals. They'll need to come away with touchdowns if they want to give them a chance to win the game today.
Birmingham's run defense is great inside the red zone. They've only given up 2 rushing scores all season, and so Annapolis will spread it out. 1st and goal from the 9. They'll fling it out to the tailback, Reynosa. Green grass down the sideline, touchdown Annapolis. They turn their interception into a touchdown. Another TD for Reynosa, his 3rd of the season.
Great job by the Annapolis Navigators. Great drive and great looking pass to Hugo the Boss Reynosa for 6.
Good protection for Curtis, flings it out to a wide open Hugo Reynosa, and he gets the seal block on the outside. Those were 2 defenders right there, but they were not able to get there in time. 2nd receiving touchdown for Hugo Reynosa, most among tailbacks. So William Richardson on for the PAT. Jay McDaniel is the holder. The other thing we haven't talked about this Annapolis offense is they are missing their fullback. We mentioned they have 3 new players across their team, or 3 openings, I guess, to put it more correctly. Greg Soto, the normal fullback, is also no longer on the team, and so the kick from William Richardson does sail through. One pick for Birmingham leads to a touchdown on the next play. 2 plays after the Annapolis interception, they take it into the end zone to tie it up.
We've got a ball game, folks. It's 7-7. I knew this was going to be a shootout. Expect more points to come. It's only 9.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. We're up to 14, and that's not going to be enough. I know there's going to be more touchdown scoring in this one, Tim.
Just the second takeaway now by an active star on this Annapolis defense after the departure of Hayden Williams, and their backups have 3 interceptions on the season. Solid return here for Riley Quintero. We know how dangerous he can be. He gets out to the 29. So Jeff Gagne now with a pick to set up a touchdown. Tank Hutt with a pick to directly lead to a touchdown, obviously on a pick 6. This Annapolis defense has been pretty opportunistic on the season. On the balance, Mike, their defense has been really solid, but they just haven't really gotten the job done in terms of keeping opponents out of the end zone.
Anytime they can have a turnover and set up their offense inside the 30, that'll work, and that's exactly what Annapolis did. They took advantage of it, and they were able to tie up this game. The defense has done its job so far.
Toss out to Micah Dillon, and he picks up 4. Hit on the outside by the new cornerback, Alvin Heyman. Pickup of 4, and of course, as I say that, Annapolis has given up the fewest total touchdowns among any defense, but their offense has given up a couple of touchdowns across this season as well. So Dillon with 4 through the air. He's a very busy man through his first 2 starts, one of the busiest running backs among guys with only 2 starts, even one of the busiest running backs. So if you count everybody that has more than 2 starts, they'll give it again to Dillon. He gets past the line of scrimmage and no further. Stonewalled there by Eric Hammer and Jeff Gagne.
I thought that might have an opportunity for a big gain, but the hole closed up quickly, and Jeff Gagne, he's the leader of the linebackers. In between himself, Hammer, and Rochester, they call themselves the Demo Crew.
Hammer and Gagne have been a fantastic 1-2 punch, and Michael Rochester has been good too since joining the team in week 2. 3rd down and 5, pass over the middle by Stone is caught for a first down. First grab of the game for Riley Quintero, a pickup of 7 on 3rd and 5.
Ben Stone really needed to fire that one in there, and great hands by Quintero to hang on to that one. He took a lick.
17 catches for Quintero. That's 3rd on his team, but again, all 3 of these pass catchers have had their moments. Quintero has gone for better than 70 yards in a game twice. His other 3 games have really been no-shows, but he has his moments. So do Horrell and Zach Lay. On 1st down and 10, Stone out to the far sideline, looking for Horrell again, and she makes another catch, her 5th of the first half, gain of 4.
The connection between Ben Stone and Beth Horrell, that seems to be the best in the league the past 4 weeks. And another reception for Horrell. She's got 5 catches for 46 yards.
She's really heating up. Last week, 5 catches for 79 yards, a season high, better than she had over the previous 2 games. Micah Dillon out of the backfield tries to get some forward progress, and he does. He picks up 5, gets out to the line to gain, stopped there by Garrison Blue. Dillon looked like he was going to go backwards. He turns it into positive yards.
Pure determination, picks up the first down. They're up to midfield.
Micah Dillon has been really solid to start this game. 7 total carries, now 3 catches. He's got 35 total yards unofficially, and he's been really productive in a lot of action. No surprise, this Birmingham team runs a lot of plays, one of the busiest offenses in the league. Fresh set of downs from just over midfield. Stone has a crosser. It's hauled in, but once again by Beth Horrell. 6 catches today after she had 6 all of last week. Another gain of 5.
Anytime Ben Stone drops back to pass, option number 1 is Beth Horrell. She's all about hustle, and right there makes a nice pickup of 5.
This team just dictates possession, and it's amazing that they haven't scored more than they do. They just get the ball because of all the turnovers that their defense takes away, and they run it a lot, they pass it a lot, and they just dictate time of possession about as well as anybody in the league. Nice gain again for Micah Dillon, goes off center and picks up 4.
Excellent job by this Fuel offense. I think this is a win for them after they gave up that interception and the Navigators tied the game up. They've moved the ball very effectively into the Annapolis Navigator zone, and they're looking good with a very manageable 3rd and 1.
A really good response drive so far after that touchdown. 3rd and 1. Again, the handoff to Dillon. Breaks through the first wave, charges forward, lowers the shoulder, and gets the first down. Needed 1, got 2.5. Mark Radson on the stop, but not before Micah Dillon moves the chains.
Nothing fancy, Tim, but pretty consistent. That'll work.
And Stone has completed 73% of his passes to this point, 11 of 15 for 74 yards and that pick. All 3 wideouts have at least a catch, and now Micah Dillon getting in on the action again. Fuel will spread it out 4 wide. Stone hit immediately and goes down. He's sacked for a loss of 3 by the other defensive tackle, Sean Crooked. And this twosome in the middle of this Annapolis front have been great all season.
Sean Crooked starting to get a little upset. He's not going to allow the field just to come down the field and run all over him here at home. And he brings down Stone for a sack.
4th sack of the season for Crooked. Radson also has 3. Crooked now has 6 tackles for loss, and Radson has 7. These two have been excellent so far this season. 2nd and 13. Stone over the left side, and it's hauled in by Horrell again. She had to reach up to get that high pass from Stone. She comes down. She can only pick up 2 because of it.
Great job by Horrell just to hang on to the ball. The pass was a little bit high and behind her, and somehow was able to make the grab. However, right now, 3rd and 11, they're going to look for Horrell again, Tim.
7th catch of the game already for Beth Horrell. 4:20 to go in the first half. 5 wides, an empty set for Ben Stone. On 3rd and 11 all day. Stone now over the middle into heavy traffic. The pass hits about 4 different bodies and falls incomplete. No surprise, Eric Hammer is at the scene of the crime for Annapolis. I think 3 different players could have caught it on either side, but it falls incomplete.
Again, Stone looking for Horrell. A whole bunch of players right in the middle of the field. Didn't let that play develop, and lucky that wasn't picked off. They're going to have to punt. Let's see if they can play the game with field position.
Punting from inside the 40 is always tough, but Taylor Benjamin has already done this from about this area once. Worked out well for Birmingham that time. High hanging kick from Benjamin. Bounce at the 5, and Jared Crow will watch as it rolls over the goal line for a touchback. That's the best case scenario for Annapolis, a net of about 19 yards on that punt.
Very unfortunate for the Fuel. It looked like they had a good drive going, but the Navigators found a way, and the Fuel stalled out.
Well, here comes the Annapolis offense. As we've hinted at, one of the best offensive units in the league. 3rd in total points per game. It was 1st before a dud last week against Boise. 1st in passing yards, 1st in total yards. On first down, they will give it to Reynosa, and he picks up only 1. They're only 3rd. Actually, they have the 3rd fewest total rushing yards. That's just because the paradigm shifts so much when they flex between their 2 starting running backs.
Great job by linebacker David Horrell and defensive end Richie Sincotti out of Boston, Massachusetts. Only allowed Reynosa a gain of 1.
Now 12 total touchdowns by this Annapolis offense. That's also 1st in the league. 2nd down and 9. Reynosa again tries to go right guard, and again he's blown up for no gain. Joey Schwintz off of the edge stops Reynosa, and Marlon Marshall was there as well.
The juice. Marlon Marshall and Joey Swint. Great job. They know that Annapolis likes to get their backs involved, and they read that like a book.
Schwint has been quietly really solid this season for Birmingham. Also 6 TFLs. That's top 15 in the league. And Marlon Marshall helps. He's got 7 TFLs this season. 3rd and 9 for Annapolis. The pass is caught over the middle. That's Jared Crow, and he picks up 3. Stopped immediately by Eddie Blackwell, the dime back, and Annapolis will have to punt again.
Excellent job by this Fuel defense. Right now, Cam Curtis, he's only completed 6 passes for 14 yards. It was 3rd and 9, and he only hit Crow for 2 yards. That won't work.
Yeah, that absolutely won't. And that's something that you pointed out. That happens to Annapolis a lot. It happens to a bunch of teams in this league, but Annapolis over the last couple of weeks, they throw short of the sticks a lot. That comes back to bite them there. From the 40-yard line, Quintero on the return doesn't get a whole lot further. Good coverage by Annapolis. And so now Birmingham with 2 timeouts, 2.5 to go, will start from their own 41.
Birmingham on the road. They want to go to 3-3. They've done a nice job here as the away team taking the crowd out of the game. And with 2.5 minutes left to go before the half, let's see what they can put together.
Fuel have Nico Cappuccino in their back pocket, one of the 4 remaining perfect kickers in the SFL. William Richardson is also perfect for Annapolis. The throw on first down is hauled in by Zach Lay. Green grass down the sideline for Lay, one man to beat, and he will do so. A 59-yard link up from Stone to Zach Lay, and Birmingham takes the lead again.
Big time throw, big time catch, big time play. The DB, number 23 for Annapolis. It looked like Solomon Kane gambled, and right there, Zach Lay shows off his speed, and he takes it 43 yards to pay dirt. Put it on the board. It's 14-7 Birmingham.
A great call by you, Mike. They targeted the right side of the offense, the left side of the Annapolis defense. That's where Alvin Heyman, who wears number 22 in the dark, that's where he now plays because Jared Brody, the former starter, is gone. So they targeted that side. They flooded it, and Zach Lay was open in the zone. Solomon Kane, the safety, had to track in too soon to try to make a play on the ball. And you're right, he got over aggressive, missed the first hit, and that was all she wrote. Lay going to the house. PAT coming from Cappuccino. They don't need him for a field goal try after all, and he knocks it through. Second touchdown catch of the season for Zach Lay.
You could see the free safety Ace Zello. He was just acquired this week along with strong safety Solomon Kane. Stone has been targeting Horrell the whole entire game. I think they were surprised that Lay got the look, and that counted for 6. With the element of surprise, Tim, Lay was able to break free, and he took it to pay dirt.
Kickoff from Cappuccino, fielded by Crow at the 10. The blocking ahead of Crow, and he runs into the thick of the coverage. It didn't work out as well as I thought it might. Here's a coaching strategy question for you, Mike. So Garrison Blue is now the only star corner on this Annapolis team. He's been one-on-one against Beth Horrell to minimal effect, I guess. I mean, Horrell has 7 catches, though. She hasn't really broken out anything huge, save for one catch that went for, 15 yards or so. So Blue has more or less done his job. There are no other star corners. There are 2 star safeties, but there are no other star corners to defend 2 other really solid receivers and a good tight end for this Birmingham team. Reynosa gets nothing on first down. David Horrell sniffs him out for no gain. So maybe it's not a surprise that Birmingham tried to target Zach Lay on that.
Very difficult for a player to come in this late in the season. The communication, there's a little bit of confusion. Zello wants to play hard. He wants to make a difference. And Kane certainly wants to make an impact. And right there, he got caught off guard. And that was the difference in that passing play that went all the way for 6 points.
Annapolis is going to have to shore up that back end because of all the changes for sure. 2-minute warning here in the first half. This is the SFL Minor League on YouTube. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Game 2 of the weekly Wednesday quadruple header. 2 more killer games coming your way later this afternoon. 3-2 Madison against 3-2 Boise coming up next at 6-5 Central. Curtis the pass, lofting it down the left sideline. It's tipped and intercepted again. Bob Funk, the thief, once again. His 2nd pick of the game and his 4th of the season. And the 2-minute drill goes awry for Annapolis.
Bob Funk is all over the field. He's been making the big plays, but credit should be given to that strong safety, number 35, Eddie Blackwell. He got his hand up, he tipped it away, and Bob Funk is the beneficiary. He's got 2 today, Tim.
This Birmingham defense has flooded the back. They've added a few extra defensive backs time and again. We know how good this Annapolis pass offense usually is. Birmingham trying to counteract it. They've gotten 2 tip drill picks already. Birmingham trying to make good on that. Stone's first pass of the drive falls incomplete. Not sure who he was going for. Might have been Lay over the left seam, and this Fuel will quickly hustle back up to the line. 2nd and 10 from the 40. The give to Dillon. Dillon surveys, surges forward, and picks up 10 first down.
Great carry by Dillon. The Fuel have a lot of energy right now, Tim.
This is crazy. They're absolutely on fire. From the 30, to give to the fullback this time. That's Alex LeGrove. He picks up 1. That's a rare sight. Just his 4th carry of the season. 2nd fewest total touches among all fullbacks. Greg Soto was the only one with fewer. He's now gone. 2nd and 9. Stone pump fake. Now he'll throw it over the middle of the field, and it's hauled in. First down and a whole lot more. Beth Horrell again. Her 8th catch of the game. Now inside the red zone. 1st and 10 from the 14. Birmingham wasting no time. 1:11 left in the first half. Stone surveys over the middle of the field once again, hauled in again. First down and more inside the 3 now go the Fuel.
What a drive this Fuel team is putting together. It's 1st and goal for the 3, and Ben Stone and Horrell are just ripping up this Navigator defense.
Back-to-back catches by Horrell, and Stone goes down. That'll help Annapolis stop the bleeding. Sean Crooked stops Stone for a loss of 2.
Crooked with a big tackle there.
2nd and goal from the 5. Stone has room. Instead, he'll fling it out to Micah Dillon, and Dillon has nowhere to go. Eric Hammer strafes over and stops Dillon for a gain of 2.
That'll stop the clock. 41 seconds. It's 3rd and goal. This is going to be a big play here, Tim. And let me tell you something. If the Fuel can somehow score here and increase their lead 21-7, the Navigators really have got their work cut out for them in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
A touchdown here would be really difficult for Annapolis to overcome. There's no way around it. 3rd and goal from the 3, 40 seconds to go until halftime. 4 wides, Dillon is the tailback. Stone will look for Dillon. Dillon makes the catch, and he's dropped for a loss of 2 in the backfield. Ronaldo Gaylor, the backup defensive end, read it perfectly. 4th down.
Great job by the Navigators to hold Birmingham out of the end zone right before the half. Surprise Stone threw that. Lucky that wasn't picked off and taken back for 6. But now Nico Cappuccino, the ever reliable kicker, will come out for about a 12-yard field goal, it looks like, Tim.
Yep, chip shot here for Cappuccino. It'll be about 22 yards or thereabouts. He's 10 of 10 on the season. The hold from Michael Melton, and Cappuccino stays perfect. One of 4 perfect kickers in the league. He makes it 11 of 11 on the season, and Birmingham extends the lead to 10.
Glad your 2nd grade math is better than mine.
There aren't many things that I'm good at, and that isn't one of them, but just trying to do some quick maths, as they say. Yeah, and then Cappuccino, here's some quick math. 10 plus 1 equals 11. That's how many made field goals Cappuccino has. And as I can read numbers, it says 34 on the clock. That's all that Annapolis has to work with before halftime. Now it's down to 30 as Crow gets around one man, can't get around the second. This has been about par for the course for Crow this season, gets out to the 27.
30 seconds left. The Navigators are going to need to use every second they can. Maybe they can get into field goal range. They'd love to put something on the board before the clock 6-0 and they go into the locker room.
This isn't beating a dead horse, Mike. It bears repeating. Almost through one half, 0 targets for C.J. Arthur, the number 1 rated wide receiver in the SFLm, fresh off of a game where he had only 1 catch on 4 targets. On 1st down, they will hand off to Reynosa. He is stopped up. 1 broken tackle and no more. Marlon Marshall, the juice, as well as Finley James, stop Reynosa for a gain of 1.
Incredibly surprised to see Coach Ben Jackson run the ball. They haven't been able to get anything going. Unfortunately, they've thrown 2 interceptions, but now I guess just content only being down 10 going into the half.
See if they run one more play. Curtis to the line, will snap it with 1. Last play of the game before the half, Curtis over the middle. That was a risky throw, and it was dropped anyway. He was looking for Ochoa, and it was tipped away by Rain Aurier, the other corner, and that takes us to the half. Opportunistic Birmingham. They strike again. 2 interceptions. They turn that into 10 points, and that's the difference in the ballgame right now.
Absolutely, Tim. We led off this game, and we noted that if Birmingham wanted to have a chance to move to 3-3, their defense need to come up big and continue to generate turnovers, and that's like exactly what this secondary and Bob Funk Railroad have done, and that's the difference in the game.
It is 100 total yards of offense for Annapolis in that first half, and again, first in the league in total yards. First in the league in passing yards, 3rd in points per game over the balance of the season, and this boomer bust offense has busted a whole lot more in this game. That's bad for Annapolis, and it's a testament to what this Birmingham defense has been able to do over the last couple of weeks.
Really remarkable job. Adam Weissman, he coaches this team by himself. He runs the offense, he runs the defense, he calls the plays, and right now he's doing everything right to give his chance a team to climb up in the middle of the standings, move to 3-3, and be right in the middle of this playoff race.
It's pretty remarkable that, as you pointed out, Adam Weissman does this all himself. And when you and I saw Birmingham in week 2, we were looking at that kind of quizzically, not critically necessarily, but it's certainly eye-opening. There are most of the teams in this minor league have 4 or 5 people on staff in various capacities, but Adam Weissman doing it all himself is pretty unique, and he's helped engineer a big turnaround for his team.
I know all the guys on his team, they have 100% full confidence in his capabilities. He's been a quick study, and right now he's turning this Fuel season around. And if they can win 2 in a row, as I mentioned, and get back to 3-3, that locker room would be fired up for week number 7.
Ben Stone told you this week, this team has felt slighted. They were ranked last in the power rankings by the SFLm the SFL Writers Crew, ranked last in power rankings by ELO a lot of weeks this season, and this team felt slighted. They felt that they were not that bad, to put it so bluntly, and they've proven over the last couple of weeks that they were nowhere near that bad. They are more than in the playoff race right now, and if they win this game, they will be right on the cusp.
No question about it. Most professional players, most of these teams, they say they ignore the hype. They don't read the articles. They don't listen to what people say. But you're right, QB Ben Stone, he took it personally. And despite the outside criticism and being ranked dead last in the power rankings, right now the Fuel are proving that they belong in the league, and they're ready to make their push for the playoffs.
We're underway in the second half from Annapolis. The Fuel with a 10-point lead will get the ball first. Riley Quintero fields at the 10. Cavalcade of blockers out ahead, and the defense swarms to stop Quintero at the 29. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Alongside Mike and Proda, I'm Tim Hackett. Cameron Irvine pushing all the buttons behind the scenes, doing really well as always. And to step in for the first game, shout out to him for all the work that he does. And our trio of statisticians, the stat man Ross Casanagria, and the power couple David and Katie Horrell. Thank you for all of your help in this game as well. Big day for those two. They've been busy today as well. The first drive of the second half for Ben Stone and the Fuel with a 10-point lead. They give it to Micah Dillon, has a hole, and that hole blows up. Nice stop by, looks like Michael Rochester, I do believe it is. Dillon picks up 4.
Tim, I'd also like to throw in Ross Napoli. He puts in a lot of time. He gives us the numbers, and he certainly makes me smarter than I actually am when we call out these stats. So thank you, Ross Napoli, as well.
Ross Napoli coming up at the 8 p.m. hour. San Jose gets Lincoln, a critical game for both of those teams. Ross, the defensive end, of course, for San Jose, and a big part of our team as well. Back-to-back 3-yard gains here for Micah Dillon, stopped again by Michael Rochester. And as we've mentioned, the SFLm and the SFL as a whole is a real family affair. You know about all the Horrells across the league. Birmingham has 3 of them, and a pair of cousins across these two teams, Marlon Marshall and Michael Rochester, going head-to-head for the first time.
Tink Rochester.
That's what they call him. Tink against Juice, I guess. 3rd down and 4 here from the 35. Stone to the near side. The pass is caught right at the sticks by Zach Lay. Solid game for him. Needed 4, got 5. First down.
Zach Lay's second catch of the game, but both of them have been big, and that'll move the chains.
Had that one big touchdown, obviously, and helps to move the chains here to keep Birmingham on the field. So Ben Stone, really solid last week, like we said. Most passing yards in a game by an SFLm quarterback to this point of the season. Unofficially, he's got 140 to this point in this game. Off left tackle goes Dillon, and he picks up a gain of 3 again. This is par for the course for Micah Dillon, stopped by Mark Radson, the defense. Or I'm sorry, that's actually Ace Zello, the safety, 46, not 96. And this is par for the course for Micah Dillon. Mike, this is what he does, 3.1 yards per carry, and that's showed up for him once again.
It's just ground and pound and grind it out. Now that they've got this 10-point lead, maybe Dillon will start touching the rock a little more, and then you'll see the clock start ticking away.
60 total yards unofficially for Micah Dillon. They will go back to him once again. Here's some more yardage for Micah Dillon. Lowers the shoulder and picks up the first down. Heyman makes the stop, and he took a big hit in the process.
When you've got a big 6'2", 238-pound back full steam ahead, the little DB, he's not going to stop him. He just wants to get in the way. And right now, that's not a good place to be between Micah Dillon and the ball.
Oh, and how about that center pull? Neil Mitchell coming in to help pave the way on that play for Micah Dillon. First down just across midfield. Birmingham is cooking in this game. Annapolis has not been able to slow them down much at all. First down, the handoff to Dillon, and that'll help. Eric Hammer lays the boom. No gain for Dillon, actually a loss of 1.
Eric Hammer, he needs to play huge in the second half. Didn't call his name much in the first half, but he's going to be the key if he wants to give this Navigator team a chance for a comeback.
We saw 2 great middle linebackers playing in the first game, a couple of really good 54s. Here's another one for your consideration. Annapolis, number 54, Eric Hammer, one of the best backers in the league. Again, the handoff to Dillon, and again he's stopped for a loss of 1. This time it is Mark Radson with his 8th TFL of the season.
I thought that play might have a chance to go for big yardage, but somehow Dillon wasn't able to jump over the big tree trunk leg of Ratson, and he tripped and he fell down for a 2-yard loss.
Defense for Annapolis has really been solid this year, but they've just been ravaged by all these departures over the last week or so. 3rd down and 12 from midfield. Stone has a man over the middle, and it's incomplete. Had a man, it was Frederick Vernon, the number 5 wide receiver, and he just couldn't haul it in.
Tough play, but great job by the Navigator defense. This is exactly what they needed to do coming out of the locker room, and now their offense has a chance to get back on the field, and more Kieran Curtis on the field and less Navigator defense. That's the formula for success, Tim.
No kidding, and this has been the track record for Birmingham, and our friend Ross Napoli had a really good insight into how Birmingham runs its offense. More on that as we go along. Jared Crow on the return from the 15, stopped up at the 19. Big hit on Crow, man, after a gain of 4, and that was Frederick Vernon, who just failed to make the catch at Towns by making a nice stop. So Ross telling us this week, Birmingham has run 70 or more plays in a game twice this season. Just for comparison, Annapolis, and we know how good their offense has been this year, how lethal at least, their season high for offensive plays in a game is 60. So Birmingham really dictates play when they can. Now, in those 2 games where they've run 70 or more plays, they're only 1-1, so dictating play doesn't necessarily translate directly to a win, but it helps get them closer than they do otherwise. On 1st down, Reynosa on the catch, and he picks up one blown up immediately by David Horrell.
Yeah, great pickup by Ross Napoli as he helped us with the stats. Sometimes you look at time of possession. Sometimes you look at different areas on offense and defense. But when a team runs 70 or more plays, Tim, they're probably giving themselves a heck of a chance to win the ball game.
You just saw more on that in a second. You just saw those stats for Cameron Curtis, a passer rating of 26 with 2 picks and 50 total passing yards. That's abysmal for one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Reynosa picks up 4 on the ground that time. And Curtis, he's got the track record as being one of the best passers. The stats back it up. 5th best completion percentage, 2nd best in yards per game, tied for 2nd in total touchdowns, 3rd most attempts per game, 2nd best yards per attempt, 3rd best quarterback rating, and he's just towards the top of the table in just about everything, but it's just not gone his way over the last couple of weeks, and that extends into this week. Big spot for him and the Navigators here. 3rd and 5 down by 10. Instead, they'll hand off to Reynosa, and Birmingham was ready for it. Finley James and a couple of linebackers. David Horrell, big surprise. Those 2 guys lead the way. Reynosa stopped for a loss of 1.
When you have a 6'2", 280-pound defensive tackle along with the linebacker, big David Horrell, fired up and wanting to get their offense back to ball, you're not going to find much room running between the tackles, Tim.
Yeah, it's a really questionable play call for Reynosa, who struggled in that aspect of the game all season. Quintero fields at the 40 and gets not a whole lot further. There's more good coverage by Annapolis. And, Curtis has only attempted 17 passes, but more importantly, he's only completed 7 unofficially for 49 total yards. And this offense has been really slow going. And, of course, Mike, like we pointed out, with Birmingham, they scored 10 points off of turnovers. Annapolis's only touchdown came off of turnovers where they started from their own 30. From the opponent's 30. Other than that, they haven't moved the ball at all.
Really surprising. Each of Curtis's wide receivers, they only have 1 catch apiece. Hugo Reynosa is leading the team to 4 catches, but only 16 yards.
0 catches for C.J. Arthur. Over the middle, Ben Stone showing you how to work the middle of the field. Riley Quintero gets right to the sticks, a gain of 10.
The last couple of weeks, Ben Stone's confidence is through the roof. Last week, after he beat up San Jose for 319 yards, he's picking up right where he left off. And he's having no problem finding the holes in this Navigator defense through the air.
Close to 200 yards passing now for Ben Stone through 2.5 quarters. 1st and 10, Stone under pressure. He'll fire it over the far sideline, and it's hauled in again by Zach Lay. He's lived over there on the right side to pick up a 5.
Nice one-handed catch by Lay. Knew where the sideline was. He got a foot in, and that pickup of 5 looked nice.
One player on offense we haven't talked about yet, Mike, is Benji Matson, the tight end. He joined the team in week 2. He's been a massive play guy, not just a big play guy, a massive play guy. And I know he was somebody that you had your eye on for this game, but Ben Stone hasn't even looked his way. On 2nd down and 5, the handoff to Dillon. He's blown up. Ace Zello, welcome to the SFL, stopping Dillon a yard before the line to gain.
Don't forget about Acello. This is his first game. He wants his name to be known all around the SFL minor league. And Micah Dillon's not going to forget that hit.
6 foot, 197 free safety out of Memphis, joining the team this week. Nice play by him. 3rd and 1, they give again to Dillon, and Dillon powers forward to move the chains. Michael Rochester drags him down from the back, but Micah Dillon once again delivers.
3rd down conversion percentage. The Fuel are way ahead of Annapolis, and when they give the ball on 3rd and 1 to Micah Dillon, it's like a bulldozer running downhill.
Yeah, good point by you. Now 4 of 10 unofficially on 3rd down are the Fuel. Annapolis is 2 of 8 on 3rd down, and that is not another thing that is trending in the wrong direction for this Navigator offense. On 1st down, they'll swing it out to Riley Quintero. Breaks through the first tackle, can't break through the next wave. Heyman was the first man to make contact, and then another regular, Solomon Kane, was there to help bring him down. Quintero picks up 9.
These receivers for the Birmingham Fuel doing their jobs. They're working the outside lanes, outside of the hash, and then they give the ball to Dillon up the middle. Navigators, they don't know where the ball is headed. But right now, the Fuel looks strong.
There's a 2nd and 1. Again, the handoff to Dillon. He reaches his arm across the magical yellow line and picks up the sticks. Needed 1, got maybe 1.5, but that's good enough.
Keep moving the chains. That'll give Birmingham a new set of downs. And Adam Weissman, he's got to be pleased with the way his team's playing here late into the 3rd.
You're right. They've really spread it around. Beth Horrell hasn't gotten a touch on this drive. She still has 7 catches, but everybody else has touched the ball. Still no Benji Matson, though, on the board so far in this game. 1st and 10 from just outside the red zone. Stone has a man wide open. It's Quintero once again. He's been very busy on this drive. That's his 3rd catch of this possession, and he picks up 9 yards on 1st down again.
Ramon Grande and the rest of the offensive line are doing their job. They're giving Stone enough time to survey the field, and he's just picking out any receiver he wants. It's 2nd and 1 from the 12.
Birmingham will now pack the box. Horrell is the lone wide receiver to the bottom of your screen. A couple of tight ends and 2 tailbacks. Again, they give to Micah Dillon, runs right tackle. 1st down and more. Micah Dillon plows forward inside the 5. 1st and goal for Birmingham at the 4.
Extraordinary strength by Dillon. Once again, he runs behind big number 60, Ramon Grande, who clears the way. And then Dillon picks up 5 on his own as he carried 2 linebackers down to the 3.
This has been another classic game for Micah Dillon. The ground and pound game works. He's gotten a lot of touches. Hasn't been tremendously efficient necessarily, but he's been very effective, and he gets them 1st down and goal from the 4. What will Birmingham do here? 2 wides and 2 tailbacks. Annapolis packs the house. Look at this defensive front, ready for the run. They will give it to Dillon, and Annapolis was indeed ready. A gain of maybe a half yard for Micah Dillon. Sean Crooked was there on the stop.
Micah Dillon's just been busting through the middle of the line. They stack the box. That'll bring up 2nd and goal. Don't be surprised if Weissman reaches into his bag of tricks and throws a pass here, Tim. Look for Horrell to the outside.
2 wides and a tailback. 2nd and goal from the 3, under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Stone takes his time. Delayed handoff. Dillon can't get his way through. Nice rallying tackle by Solomon Kane. One of the few holdovers on this secondary. Blows up Dillon for a gain of 1.
That's the key. When you put 2 receivers out left, the strong safety on the other side, he can come in, they can stack the box, and it makes it hard to run when you're down near the goal line.
We mentioned Annapolis is really good against the run inside the red zone. Only 1 rushing touchdown allowed prior to today. 3rd and goal now from the 2. Stone will pass, rolling out to his right, off of his back foot. Dangerous throw. It's intercepted. Is that Jeff Gagne? No, it's Alvin Heyman, the new cornerback in his 1st game with the team. He picks off Ben Stone in the end zone. Annapolis weathers the storm.
The defensive line of the Navigators, they got penetration. They had Stone back on his heels. Somehow Stone lost composure, lofted it up. And Heyman, the backup cornerback, makes a huge play inside the goal line. That'll bring it out to the 20. And that's what the Navigators needed to keep themselves in this game.
Can this be the spark plug for an Annapolis comeback? Curtis will throw, 1st time in a while, and he hits Jared Crow on a quick slant, and Crow picks up 7. 2nd catch of the game for the Crow.
Tim, we've been talking about these Navigator wide receivers all day long. If Annapolis plans on putting a W up into their board to move up to 3-3, it's going to be these wide receivers that are going to carry them to victory.
17 of the 24 points in this game have been scored off of turnovers across these 2 teams. Reynosa the give on 2nd down, runs left tackle and picks up 2. Stopped by Lorenzo Washington. Haven't said his name too much, but The Birmingham middle linebacker makes a nice play on that one.
Nice job to plug the hole out of Phoenix, Arizona, the linebacker Lorenzo Washington. And this Fuel team, they've done a great job keeping Reynosa under the ropes.
Yeah, he's been held at bay, no question. They'll go back to him on third down, and Reynosa delivers this time. David Horrell stops him. Reynosa needed 2, picks up 4. Annapolis stays on the field.
Yeah, nothing pretty from this running game out of Annapolis, but if they could continue to move the ball, that's what they're going to try and do. And Reynosa is effective as this third quarter comes to an end.
Total completions for Cam Curtis, 4 to Reynosa, 0 to CJ Arthur. We're done with 3 here in Annapolis. The Fuel lead by 10 on the road. This is the SFLm on YouTube.
Get your 4s up, Tim.
I was hoping you would remind me because I never remember. You know what time it is, everybody. It's the fourth quarter, so you know what to do. On to the fourth quarter we go. Tim Hackett and Mikey Proda in the booth. David and KT Horrell and Rauska Santagria in the stats truck, as they say, and Cameron Irvine doing all the work behind the scenes. 1st and 10, huge hole for Reynosa up the center of the field. Nice run for Hugo, bossing it up the middle for a gain of 7.
Nice burst of speed by Reynosa. We saw it on that earlier 29-yard run back in the second quarter. They'll need more of that.
Now 21 by my count, make it 23 total touches for Hugo Reynosa in this game, right in line with his season average. 4 catches for 16 yards, about par for the course for him. Delayed handoff again to Reynosa. Plenty of room down the left tackle. Again, the referee goes down, and Reynosa is stopped by Marlon Marshall. A huge gain of 28 for Hugo, his longest run of the game.
Adam Weissman's going to be shaking the Juice's hand after that tackle. If he didn't make that play, Reynosa would have been in the end zone doing a little dance, and this game would only be by 3 points right now, Tim.
And it's absolutely wrong of me to say that. That wasn't a gain of 28 as long as that one came in the first half, but it's still a huge gain of 18. See, I told you I can't do the quick math either, Mikey Proto. I try, but it was still a huge gain. It's 18 yards on the ground for Reynosa. He will take it. So will the Navigators. He's been very busy in this game. Curtis on the quarterback keeper powers up the middle and picks up 2. Okay, not sure that I expected we'd see that out of this Annapolis team. Winkler makes the stop.
Cam Curtis doesn't get many carries. Not sure what he saw there, but thought he might be able to make a little bit more of a pickup. A gain of 2. I guess it's positive yardage.
Yeah, it's certainly better than nothing. Just the 3rd overall carry this season by Curtis. One of them came last week on a quarterback scramble that you see straight out of pro football. Here's Reynosa trying to crack out right tackle, and he picks up just 2. So his first carry was just a, kind of an afterthought where he lost yards. Last week he picks up 6 on 3rd down and 6, and he got hit by a linebacker at the end of the play for a late hit. And then that was a straight quarterback dive for Cam Curtis. And again, he's 6'8", 228, one of the biggest quarterbacks in the league. We do not see that out of him, or really any team not named the Lincoln Rattlesnakes, and doesn't really work. Reynosa picks up 2, so now 3rd down and 6. Annapolis will spread it out, 5 wides from the 38. Curtis over the middle of the field, and the pass is hauled in. There's CJ Arthur down inside the 15 and stopped at the 11 by Roger Law. Finally, the best wide receiver makes his mark.
I wasn't sure if C.J. Arthur made it out of the locker room today, Tim, but there you see his ability, and Curtis had to throw a rocket through a tight window, and he threaded the needle. Now the Navigators looking strong.
That's their patented play, that deep slant, the deep post, whatever you want to call it. C.J. Arthur, first catch for 23 yards, make it 27 yards actually, and last week he had just 1 catch for 23 on the exact same play. First down now from the 11. The handoff to Reynosa, tries to track outside, or check it, it's Scott Johnson. That's unexpected. The week 1 starter tries to go outside, and he's stopped for a loss of 1 by David Horrell.
Scott Johnson giving Hugo Reynosa a little breather, but David Horrell with search and destroy defense took him down for a 1-yard loss.
I don't know why this is, Mike, but Annapolis cycles their 2 running backs more than I think any other team that I've seen that has 2-star running backs. Reynosa got a little bit of work when Johnson was the starter. Johnson gets that carry here. You're on 2nd down. Reynosa is back on the field, and he picks up 6. Nice recovery by Reynosa, hauled down from behind by Patterson.
Good little run around the right side. It'll bring up 3rd and 5 from the 6. Be interesting to see what Ben Jackson does here. Do they stick with the run, or they try and look for C.J. Arthur in the end zone?
Reynosa unofficially 92 rushing yards. He had 89 total yards coming into today. 3rd down and 5 from the 6. Annapolis can get another first down here. Curtis to the back of the end zone, and the pass is caught. Touchdown, Annapolis. Chris Armstrong, the backup. The Navigators are back in it.
Who would have expected the backup wide receiver Chris Armstrong to get a target, but he takes full advantage of that. And Cam Curtis has got his team back in this game, and there's plenty of time. This one's not over yet.
Some teams in this league use their backups more than others. I mean, Birmingham doesn't really use their backups much at all. I don't think their 2 backup tight ends have ever caught a pass, but these 2 backup wideouts for Annapolis are about as involved as the number 2 and number 3 wide receivers for this team. Armstrong now is a touchdown on the season. Frank Hubbard now is a touchdown on the season, and you just never know where Curtis is going to go. They're that unpredictable, and that drive is more like it for the Navigators. Point after from William Richardson sails through. This team's back in it, Mike. You can't give them these chances. And once again, they turn a pick into a touchdown. They march 80 yards and score.
That's why Cam Curtis is the number 1 passer in the minor leagues. He's one of the more intelligent players. He tends to take his time. He makes solid throws. And when the receivers can hang on to the ball, that's when they're in trouble on the field.
First interception by Birmingham turned into the touchdown run by Dillon. All but the first touchdown by all but the second touchdown by Birmingham have been scored immediately following a turnover. Quintero gets out to the 30-yard line. That was a 59-yard pass play between Stone and Lay on their first play of that possession. Everything else has been preceded on the previous drive by a turnover. And we knew that would be the case with this Birmingham team, but you've called it for the last couple of weeks, Mike. You wanted to see this Annapolis defense get more turnovers. They finally have been doing that over the last couple of weeks.
That's the key. When the defense can help out your offense, when your offense is struggling, it's the D that needs to get you back on track. And when you come up with big turnovers, that'll certainly turn things around.
Micah Dillon on the carry. Game 2 of our 4-game quadruple header. That's how those numbers work. Coming up at 6-5 Central, perhaps the most pivotal game of a whole slate of pivotal games. 3-2 Madison hosts 3-2 Boise, coming up at 6-5 Central with Mark Radson and Gerald Giudice. And then coming up at 8, San Jose against Lincoln. That is a do-or-die game, I think, for both of those teams. Stone under pressure. He goes down, another sack. This Annapolis defensive front has been great, and that's Brock Craven, the defensive end, dropping Stone for a loss of 6.
He wants to get his offense back the ball. The momentum has swung to the other side, and he just pulled a little swim move around the left end, and he took down Stone for a 4-yard loss.
The last game, going back to the upcoming schedule, 2-3 Lincoln at 1-4 San Jose. It's do or die. If you lose that game, you're pretty much out of the playoff picture. If you win it, you're still alive. Jeff Melanishin and Mark Lopez will have the call of that one coming up at 8 p.m. 7 Central. 3rd and 15. Big play here for Birmingham. Stone over the middle. The pass is caught by Benji Matson. His first target, his first catch, and the big play, TE picks up 10. That's not enough to move the sticks.
With 6.5 minutes left to go, this Navigator defense and the linebacking demo crew, they know where this game is headed, and they know that with only down by 3 points, Cam Curtis gets the ball. They've given themselves a chance. Good job to get out of this and get the ball back for their offense.
Big stop by this Annapolis defense. They rebound after a good drive when they got the takeaway. They stand up. Birmingham can't respond. Jared Crow not much on the return. Annapolis will start from the 27.
This is where the Birmingham Fuel defense needs to come up big. This is what they did last week against San Jose to turn the tides. Does Bob Funk and this secondary have one more interception left?
This week 6, you really can't ask for anything more. If you're a fan of the league or fan of drama, every game is critical. I think every game is going to have an impact on what the playoff picture looks like at the end of the season. Literally all 4 games are very impactful. Curtis launching it over the middle of the field, and it's hauled in. There's the patented Navigator deep post. CJ Arthur makes good on it once again.
He's made 2 critical catches. They've been for big yardage, and that's exactly what the Curtis to C.J. Arthur connection looks like. And this is not going to be good for the Fuel if Arthur starts heating up here in the waning minutes of this ball game.
Arthur cuts between the two Syracuse guys, Bob Funk and Geralt Winkler, picks up 21 on that deep post. So now all of a sudden, he's involved in the offense. 2 catches unofficially for 48 yards. That's altogether not a bad game for him. You know, he was kind of disappointed with his lack of impact on the game last week. Back on the ground they go. Reynosa stopped for a loss of 1 by Lorenzo Washington.
C.J. Arthur, 2 targets, 2 receptions for 48 yards. He's leading the team right now.
Yeah, no kidding, out of nowhere after he was silent through the first 3 quarters. So 2 catches for Arthur, 2 for Crow, only 1 for Ochoa on 6 targets. That's not normal. When Reynosa is the starting running back, Christopher Ochoa is a very busy man. Not today. 2nd down and 11. Again, the handoff to Reynosa. Space for Reynosa this time across left tackle. Great cutback. Stopped by the other outside backer, Marlon Marshall. Crossed across the field to stop Reynosa after a gain of 10.
Hugo Reynosa, he's starting to pick up steam. Good open field tackle by Marshall. And once again, makes a touchdown-saving play. If he doesn't bring down Reynosa, I think he might have been gone.
Best game of the season, no question, for Hugo Reynosa. Over 100 yards, by far his best, and averaging about 4.5 yards per carry. They will go to him again, and he gets the job done. Needed 1, gets 2. Stopped from behind by Rain REA, but Hugo Reynosa moves the sticks.
In the first half, the Navigators weren't feeling very good. They were down. Nothing was going right. They've stuck with their game plan. They keep grinding. And right now, they look like the better team on the field here in the 4th quarter.
They've been the better team in the second half. There's absolutely no question about it. Curtis to throw, looking for Crow, and the pass is offline. David Horrell was in the area for Birmingham, but that's a straight-up drop for Crow. And as you see, his 3rd dropped pass of the game.
Unusual to see Crow. He's one of the few wide receivers that don't wear gloves. Maybe he'll have to go back to the sideline and put on a pair.
Great observation. That is kind of rare, and I don't know, maybe that's one of the reasons that he's suffered from the drops today, but I'm not going to speculate. 2nd down and 10 now for Annapolis, trailing by 3. 4:05 to go in the 4th. Critical game for both of these two teams. The winner stays in the thick of the playoff hunt. Curtis, deep bomb down the right sideline. There are 3 defenders there. They all tipped it up almost into Jared Crow's path, but it falls incomplete.
Great job by the Fuel defense. Raul Garlaw, the strong safety. He laid out for that one. Almost came down with it, but lucky the Crow didn't take that off the tip into the end zone, and they'll survive on that 3rd down play.
That's hilarious. It's almost like a diving beach volleyball bump with one wrist. All 3 of the defenders jumped, tried to tip it up in the air, and they should have tried to go the other way. So if Crow was just a few steps faster, he might have gotten under it on the tip drill and took it in for an easy touchdown, but it falls harmlessly incomplete. Exactly. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Check that, Tim. I said 3rd down. It was 2nd down to bring up 3rd down.
Now 3rd down and 10, exactly 4 minutes to go. Curtis steps up, launching it down the right seam, and it's dropped. Ochoa again is the target, and he once again cannot haul it in. That would have been a huge gain for their number 2 receiver. Instead, now it's 4th down.
Big time drop by Ochoa. The Navigators needed that one, and they're not close enough for field goal range. Let's see. It looks like they're bringing out the punter, Rand Fullman, with 3:56 left to go here in the game.
This would be a 58-yard field goal for William Richardson. His long this season is 44. Nico Cappuccino is actually the only guy that has kicked from better than 50 this season. So they're playing the field position. Fullman's kick towards the corner is stopped at the 4. Excellent work by Annapolis. Here's a look at the gunner that hustles down to make the play.
Sometimes special teams isn't really looked upon too highly, but right there, that could be the difference in this ball game here in the 4th quarter. They've pinned Birmingham back on their 4, and if the Navigator defense can get a stop with a reasonable amount of time, the Navigators still have a chance.
Birmingham has had a couple of long drives this game. They're going to need another one to try to help ice it. Here goes Dillon, cuts back across the right side, and a nice start for Birmingham. Dillon picks up 5.
That's what the Fuel team needs out of Micah Dillon here. Just keep grinding, let the clock keep ticking away, and 5 yards a clip. They'll take it.
By our count, 4 Birmingham drives have lasted at least 8 plays, but unfortunately not a lot of those have resulted in points. Only 2 of them have resulted in points for the Fuel offense. Other times they've had to punt it away. 2nd down and 5. No rush here for the Fuel. 3:15 to go in the 4th. Up the middle goes Micah Dillon. Big hole for Micah Dillon. His big day continues. He picks up 8. Stopped by Blue.
Big hole once again behind the center, and Ramon Grande, who's played a heck of a game. He's created big holes that have allowed Dillon to pick up big yardage, and just to get outside of that 4-yard line where they started, Tim, this is what the Fuel are looking to do, and this is just going to be a grind it out, let the clock tick away, and Annapolis needs to be up for the challenge.
Unofficially, exactly 100 total yards of offense for Micah Dillon after he had barely over 200 total yards coming into today through 2 starts and some garbage time work here and there. 2:40 to go in the fourth. Ben Stone will let the clock tick down. Why not? Annapolis stacks the box to hand off to Dillon, and Annapolis was ready for it that time. Michael Rochester has been big in this game, and once again, Jeff Gagne is there to help clean it up. No surprise.
Offensive line versus defensive line. Who has more will, who has more determination, and really, Tim, it comes down to strength. And right there, you saw how strong the front four of the Navigator defense was, and they took down Dillon for no gain.
Track tackles and tackles for loss, but I wish we tracked tackles within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage, because I think Jeff Gagne would lead the league in that category. 0 yards or 1 yard gain, Gagne is lethal. Stops Dillon for a gain of 0 that time. We've hit the 2-minute warning. Another great ball game in the SFLm. Don't go anywhere. This is the Simulation Football Minor League on YouTube. 2 minutes to go in Annapolis, Maryland this afternoon. Tim Hackett, Mike Improta, Raska Santagria, David Horrell, and KT Horrell behind the scenes doing stats. Cameron Irvine controlling the show as he usually does. 3-point lead for Birmingham. 2 minutes to go in the game. Again, they hand off to Dillon. Tries to lower the shoulder. He picks up 6, and Annapolis will use its first timeout.
Great job up front once again. Dillon followed the lead block from the fullback, and he picked up 6, forcing the Navigators to use their timeouts. If the Fuel can pick up another first down, the Navigators might find themselves in some deep trouble here.
One more first down would be very difficult for Annapolis to overcome. They do have 2 timeouts left. 3rd and 4. Here's Dillon. He won't get there. Needed 4, got just 1. A trio of Navigators were there, spearheaded as usual by Eric Hammer.
He's the difference maker in the middle of the field. Hammer, along with backup cornerback Alvin Heyman, who's had a nice game in his first appearance. They've made the stop. It's 4th and 3. There's a minute and 53 seconds left. That's plenty of time for this Navigator defense to come down the field and put points on the board.
Annapolis did use its second timeout, so they stopped the clock with 1:53, as you say. Plenty of time for Annapolis to make something happen. 3-point deficit. Taylor Benjamin needs to be big here. Pretty good kick out to the 40. Jared Crow brings it out to the 44. Crow has not been great on punt returns or kick returns, frankly, this season. He's bottom 3 in the league in both punt and kick return average. He picks up 4 on that return. So 56 yards away from the end zone are the Navigators. William Richardson's long field goal this year, as we said on the previous drive, is 44. So they're going to need about, 35 yards or so to have a chance. Here we go. With wide receivers, 4 wides and a tight end for Curtis. He'll float it over the middle of the field. That was risky. The pass is dropped, I believe, and there's a penalty flag on the play. Daniel, the tight end, was there. Crow was in the area as well. There's a flag, our first of the game. And here's a look at everybody's friend, R62. A late hit against Birmingham. Geralt Winkler, the safety. Not even sure where that came. I don't think the pass was caught, but here's a look at Winkler taking down his own man after the play.
Check that, Tim. I actually thought that was a heck of a sliding catch, but
you were right.
Actually, Alex Daniel down to the 45. Winkler hit him late, and that'll bring it down from the 45, 15 yards to the 30.
Yep, good call by you. That was a catch by Daniel. That's the only reason the penalty really matters all that much. So a gain of about 30 on those 2 plays, as Curtis, again, a risky pass over the middle. No penalties that time. A straight swat by Lorenzo Washington.
Lorenzo Washington standing right in the middle of the field. He saw where Curtis was looking, trying to target Daniel once again. Knocked that pass down. He picks up a pass deflection. Nice play.
2 and 3 teams doing battle here in week 6. Only 2 more regular season games after this. The loser is on the outside looking in of the playoff picture. The winner stays right in the thick of things after week 6. 2nd and 10 from the 30. Curtis with his team down by 3. Throws it out to the near side. It's dropped. Could have been picked again. Ochoa was once again the target, and Andrew Laffer again had the coverage.
1 catch on 7 targets for Ochoa, but nice job to cover Ochoa like a blanket.
How about Laffer out of nowhere? And like we said, he doesn't really play all that much. The 2 backup safeties are the normal dime and nickels, but he's been blanketing Ochoa all game, and that is far from a laughing matter. Right on the fringes of field goal range now. 94 seconds left in regulation. Curtis launching it down the right seam, and it's batted away, incomplete. Rain, REA with the one-on-one coverage, 4th down.
The cornerback out of Moss Point, Mississippi may have just made the play of the game. This isn't going to be an easy field goal, but if that one had gotten through, I think the Navigators would have taken the lead.
Got to be the right decision here, though, to kick this field goal, right? Not try to go for it on 4th and 10.
47 yards, well within range. You need to tie this ball game up with 1:31. Who knows if you get the ball back again?
Comes Richardson, fewest attempts, fewest makes, 6 of each on the season, and his season long is 44. Poor snap, great hold by Jay McDaniel, and the kick from 47 sails through. Officially from 46, William Richardson delivers, and with less than 90 seconds to go, Annapolis ties the game.
The biggest kick of William Richardson's life, the little man, only 5'11" out of Bloomington, Indiana, and he gave everything he had, and that made it over to the crossbar. We got this game, Tim. It's all tied up with 1.5 minutes left to go.
Games on this day that have come right down to the wire. Not surprised. The first game, I had that game circled after week 2, to be honest. Ottawa at Albuquerque. I figured that would be one of the best matchups of the season. It lived up to the height, a real hype, I should say. A real defensive battle. Here's Riley Quintero. He's dangerous on these. He gets out to the 29 and no further. And this game, 2 teams on opposite ends of the momentum spectrum. Birmingham is hot. They've won 2 out of 3. Have played really well in both of those games. Annapolis ice cold. They've been pretty poor over their last 2, but a really good matchup between 2 teams that need a win, and they've delivered this game, Mike.
Really remarkable comeback by Annapolis. Didn't think they had anything left in the tank, but they've hung in there. They've stuck with their game plan, and now they've given themselves a chance.
There's Ben Stone, 90 seconds to go, 3 timeouts, trying to drive down for the win. His first pass is tipped away, incomplete. That was dangerous, and the backup corner, the new starter, Alvin Heyman, once again makes the play.
Excellent coverage. Stone trying to fit it into a tight window, wasn't able to thread the needle, and the defensive back made a beautiful play.
Heyman has been super busy in this game, and as we pointed out, Mike, it felt like it would be logical for Adam Wiseman and company to target that side of the defense. They have done so for one of their touchdowns, so that's a hit. Everything else has been a miss. Heyman has been pretty solid to this point of the game. 2nd and 10 from the 29. 1 pump fake. Stone will check it down to Dillon, and a great one-on-one tackle by Hammer. Ratson was there to help. Dillon loses 2 on the play.
This Navigator defense has really come alive in the second half. Credit the secondary for covering everyone downfield. The only option Stone had was a little out pass to the halfback Dillon, and Eric Hammer makes a beautiful play. It's 3rd and 12. This could be huge.
Birmingham used its first timeout, so big spot here for the Annapolis defense as well. 3rd and 12 from the 27, 5 wides, low snap. Stone has to roll out to his left, throws back across his body, and it's tipped away, incomplete. He was looking for Lay, and Heyman again provides the coverage, 4th and 12.
What a great play. Perfect timing by Heyman. Hit the wide receiver just as the ball hit his hands, and that'll force the punt.
It's got to be, right? 4th and 12 from the 27. Here comes Taylor Benjamin. Birmingham had all 3 timeouts, 90 seconds to drive down the field. Instead, they take about 20 seconds off the clock, and this quick strike Annapolis offense is going to get the ball again, we presume. 10 seconds on the play clock. 4th and 12, Taylor Benjamin on to punt. More good pressure by Annapolis on the punt. Jared Crow to return from 35, and he gets out to the 37. His tough luck on punt returns continues, but now Annapolis once again from just about the same neck of the woods. 58 seconds to go, 1 timeout. They could take the lead and win it here.
Let's see what Annapolis has in their arsenal. They need some quick strikes with 58 seconds and 2 timeouts. See if C.J. Arthur gets a little more involved here down the stretch.
There's a look at him one-on-one on the left side of the offense, the bottom of the screen against Bob Funk, who has 2 picks in this game. Less than a minute to go. Here we go. Curtis slings it over the middle of the field, and the pass is caught. Alex Daniel comes through once again. A big gain out across midfield.
He's their secret weapon right across the middle of the field. That'll work.
Big time in this 4th quarter. Again, Curtis over the middle, tipped a couple of times, and it's hauled in by Arthur, I think. Tipped 3 times, and it falls into Arthur's waiting hands.
Unbelievable. How did he make that catch?
I've absolutely no idea. His 3rd catch of the game. Curtis looking for Arthur, lobs it down the left seam. It's tipped twice. That one could have been picked. Bob Funk had his hands on it. Geralt Winkler in the area. Incomplete pass.
Wow, what action up and down the field. They're in the hurry-up offense. The ball was tipped. Arthur caught the pass the 2nd time. It went off Arthur's hands, and I thought that might have been picked off. Winkler had the opportunity, but lucky just to come away with 2nd down.
And now already, Mike, after those 2 big catches, they're on the fringes of field goal range for William Richardson. We just saw him hit from 46. This would be from 49, so they need a little bit more. Curtis on 2nd down, under pressure, throws near side. That could have been picked as well. David Horrell almost had his 2nd pick 6 of the season.
That could be the difference in this game by 3 points, Tim, if Annapolis is able to kick the field goal with time running off the clock. Great read by Horrell. Or was that Lorenzo Washington? Check that, 58, Lorenzo Washington. He needs to make that play.
So do you run it here and just try to pick up a few yards, or do you try to get the 1st down? I guess Annapolis
lose yardage. Don't take negative yardage.
You're right. 3rd down and 10. Annapolis will spread it out. 3rd and 10. Here they go. Curtis down the right seam. Again, it's knocked away. Again, he was looking for Ochoa, and Rain REA is up to the task. 4th down.
Good job by the Fuel defense to stop this drive. It's going to bring up another 46, 47 yard field goal for William Richardson, and this could be for the win.
20 seconds left. 4th and 10 now from the 32. So unofficially a 49-yard field goal coming up here for Richardson. Just made a new career long a minute or so ago from 46. Now Richardson, who's 7 of 7 on the year, will kick with 20 seconds on the clock. McDaniel to hold. Dusty Wilson will snap. It's from 49 from Richardson. The kick is on its way, and it's good. Officially from 48, Richardson converts twice with less than 2 minutes to go in the game. Annapolis takes a 3-point lead late.
William Richardson, the unofficial hero of the game, scores the last 6 points here in the 4th quarter, and that could be just enough to have the Navigators keep their season alive and go home or stay home and keep the fans in their seats as they celebrate and move up to 3-3. Tim, unbelievable finish.
Back-to-back career longs from William Richardson, coming within the span of about 90 seconds of game time. And now Richardson will kick off. 15 seconds left in regulation. Here comes Riley Quintero. Can he make something happen? A decent return out to the 29. So 12 seconds now for Ben Stone, fresh off of a career game, the most passing yards that any quarterback has had in an SFL minor league game in this, the inaugural season. He's going to need to dial something up here. 12 seconds, 70 yards away from the end zone with 2 timeouts.
I think you have 2 plays with 2 timeouts. It needs to be a quick strike, maybe about 15 or 20 yards up the field, and then the last play's got to be a Hail Mary for the win.
Cripps out to the left. Dillon is the tailback here for Ben Stone. Time ticking, 10 seconds left in the game. Stone feeling the heat. He goes down. Sacked for a loss of 6. That takes 4 seconds off the clock. A big play for Annapolis.
And that's your man right there. He always comes up big in big time situations. Tank Pizza Hut.
The big man, another Armed Forces veteran coming to play here on the week of Memorial Day, and he shows up with a big 6-yard sack. Another one for him. Give him now 3 total on the season. 4 wides. This could be it for Ben Stone in Birmingham. Not just for this game, but for this season. You never know. The loser falls to 2-4. Big hole to climb out of. 8 seconds left. Stone to the far sideline. The pass is hauled in by a backup wide receiver. That's Mike Kelly. He gets involved occasionally. He goes out of bounds. Clock stops with 2 seconds left.
Good job by Adam Weissman to call a timeout with 2 ticks left on the clock. But this is going to be a prayer.
37-yard line, so Birmingham is now 63 yards away from the end zone. They need it all. There's no time left. Beth Worrell has been silent in this second half. Garrison Blue has done a great job on coverage against her. Here's 4 wides. Dillon is the tailback. This is it for Birmingham. 3rd down and 2 from their own 37. Only 2 seconds left. Here's the snap to Ben Stone. He'll fire it over the middle of the field. The pass is caught, and that's not going to do it. Annapolis rights the ship. William Richardson with a game-winning field goal with less than 20 seconds left. And the Navigators stay alive in the playoff push. They win it 20-17.
Unbelievable change of events. This game was a battle of halves. In the first half, I didn't think the Annapolis Navigators came to play, but in the second half, they turned things around. They made the adjustments they had to make. They had a couple of turnovers. They scored on a couple of deep field goals by their kicker, and somehow they win this game. They move to 3-3, and they're right in the middle of the playoff hunt.
Birmingham in the second half, Mike. Their drive summary looks like this, courtesy of our 3-person stat team. Punt to open the half. Then they threw a pick. Annapolis turned that into a touchdown. Remember, that was the pick in the end zone by Alvin Heyman. Annapolis drives down the field. It turns it into 6. Birmingham then goes 3 and out. They punt it again. They punt it again, another 3 and out. And then that last drive right there. They barely moved the ball at all. And they did not score a single point. They threw a pick. And Annapolis comes back from down 17-7 at the break to win it 20-17 on this field goal from William Richardson.
Yeah, William Richardson, again, his foot was the difference. He gave this Annapolis Navigators team the win, but the big play, as you mentioned, was the interception in the end zone by the backup cornerback, and that really was the difference. My player of the game, Hugo Reynosa.
You are right again. Excellent at the death, Mike and Proda. You're now 6 of 6. The best game of the season for Hugo Reynosa. Front offices draft this man. This 1-2 punch for Annapolis is one of the best in the league. A show-out game for the boss.
Next up.
Well, Mike and Proda,
Oh, go ahead,
Tim.
Tim.
Oh, please go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to say, week 7, could the stakes get any higher? Annapolis goes to San Jose, and Birmingham has to win out. They'll be in Lincoln.
Birmingham has to win its final 2 games to have a chance. There's no question. And Annapolis with an impressive and critical bounce-back win. Mike and Proda, your final thoughts?
Tim, my final thoughts are, thank you for allowing the SFL into your living room. Now allow the SFL into your dreams.
2 more great games coming up later this afternoon. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. For my partner, Mike Proda, Cameron Irvine behind the scenes, our statisticians, David and Casey Horrell and Rosca Santagria, I've been Tim Hackett. Annapolis wins it 20-17. We'll see you next time. Until then, so long.